Welcome to the Raven Space on YouTube. My name is Jason, and this is Raven Space Daily, where we talk about the news 3 days a week. I'll change the name. Sorry. But let's hop into it. But first, I want to say please subscribe to the Raven Space for the best Baltimore Ravens content on the internet. Also, if you want to help support us, check out the description below. You can join our Patreon, or another way you can support us is by sharing our videos to your friends on Facebook and Twitter. Also, please comment below. Now, let's talk about the topics of the show. We're going to talk about the chance that the Ravens have the QB of the future. We're going to talk about Marlin Humphrey's running with the law. We're going to talk about the Ravens' State of the Union or not. And then, of course, my favorite segment of the show, we're going to do a mailbag question and the comment of the day. You guys can enter the show and be a part of the show by putting your question and comment in the comment section below. Now, let's get to the first topic. The Ravens are reportedly interested in Josh Allen if he fell to number 16 in the first round. And really, to be 100% honest with everyone, I think this report is true. I think this report is 100% true. I think the Ravens do not have a problem of moving off of Joe Flacco. I think that the coaching is, not as the coach is not as sensitive to Joe Flacco. They're not best friends. They're not, homies. As a quarterback coach, and because since John Harbaugh is really a coach that treats every position fairly, because he was not a great offensive coordinator or a great defensive coordinator, that's the reason. If he has an affection for anyone, it's going to be Justin Tucker or Sam Cook. Other than that, I think Joe Flacco was on the table to be removed. And if you can get a franchise quarterback at number 16, you take that chance. I really do believe that if you think Josh Allen has the goods. But what that does is now you admit to everybody, including Terrell Suggs, including to Jimmy Smith, who, is an injury away from not playing anymore. Especially players like Marshall Yonder on offense. You're telling them we're not pushing for the championship this year. Every team tries to win the championship. Every team wants to get there. But only a handful of teams really have a chance. Maybe when the season starts, 10 teams really have a chance and have the goal to getting to the Super Bowl. For example, the Browns do not have the goal of getting to the Super Bowl. I think this year the Ravens were that team. But if you take a quarterback, you have to get him to mature. I don't think you take that step. The Ravens know right now that they cannot win a Super Bowl with that offense being powered just by Joe Flacco. If you use your first pick to pick a quarterback, that means you don't use your first pick to pick a receiver or offensive lineman, which means you don't care about winning now. You care about getting your future set up. And that's really just the truth of it all. We're not the Patriots, right? We can't waste a pick right now. We got to pick correctly. So I need them to pick correctly. But if they think Josh Allen's the right pick, that means Ravens fans, they're not trying to win next year or maybe even the year after that. But 3 years down the road, 4 years down the road, they're going to try to draft some talent so we can be competitive. So I would rather go receiver, but if that's what they want to do, Bisciotti owns the team, so he can do whatever he wants. So now we're going to go to the second topic. And we're going to talk about some crazy news. Marlin Humphrey was charged with third-degree robbery after taking a charger out of an Uber. It's a crazy story. If you guys have not heard it, please go check out ESPN.com. They have a great article there and explains it. So basically what happened was, back in Alabama, Humphrey was in an Uber going to some establishment, some hotel, some restaurant, something. Don't know exactly what, but something. And as he was going, he saw a charger in the Uber and thought it was his charger. And this comes from him, so this may not be exactly what happened, but thought it was his charger and took the charger. It led to a confrontation with the Uber driver who thought he was trying to steal it. I don't know if the Uber driver knew that, Humphrey's a millionaire. I didn't know if he knew that. But so he tried to steal a Charger. This whole thing ensued. The driver said that Humphrey elbowed him. All right, there's a couple issues I have with this. I honestly do think Humphrey didn't try to steal the Charger. From what I've seen him talk and when I see him communicate, and the plays that he makes on the field, because I do take that into account, he doesn't seem stupid to me. He seems like a smart young man, and because of that, I think he would not have made this decision. Also, which makes me believe like the whole thing is probably not true, is that the Uber driver said he got elbowed by Humphrey. If you've ever been in an Uber, you know, and if you've not been in an Uber and you've only been in a cab, it's pretty much the same thing. They're usually out of shape people, and that's just the honesty. They're usually regular men, right, or women for that matter, but regular people, right? If a football player, you know, who has to tackle 260-pound to 230-pound, players, hits you with his elbow to get you away from him, you will feel that. You need to go to the, you don't brush that off and keep on yelling at somebody. You're going to feel every bit of that, okay? And if you're a regular man like he was, if another regular man hits you with his elbow, you're going to feel it. So imagine if a football player does it. I do not believe this is true. The lawyer said that they believe the case will be dropped. I do too. So, it could be a hometown bias, but I think Humphrey will be fine. He'll get out scot-free. But it was just a crazy story, and I thought you guys would want to know. So, and now we're going to go to the third topic, which is about the usual State of the Union. But the Ravens announced owner Steve Bisciotti will speak to the media on Friday, February 2nd, and will answer questions about the 2017 season and the future of the team. Now, this is a little weird for long-term Ravens fans for a lot of reasons. First, I'm going to say, please, if you want to see this, I'll put it on my YouTube channel after it goes live so you guys can see it there. And I said my YouTube channel, I mean the Raven Space. So I don't have a YouTube channel. I have the Raven Space. So, but neither here nor there. Now, this is weird for Ravens fans because you're used to seeing Steve Bisciotti, John Harbaugh, Ozzie Newsome, and Dick Cass talking about the season and the future. I don't know if this means bad news for those two in particular. Dick Cass is fine. The Ravens are making money. Whatever. But Ozzie and John not being on the stage either means that they have something else to do, which I don't know. February 2nd, I don't know what what they're scouting. They might be doing something, whatever. But I think it means that there is some disagreement with the way the team is progressing. I think either John Harbaugh thinks that he has the right coaches and Bisciotti disagrees, or Ozzie thinks he has the right players and Bisciotti disagrees. I don't know which one, but I think this has to be the reason. I'm not going to go too far because I don't know, but there would be no reason to change it if something wasn't wrong, because it worked just fine. You got a lot of information on coaching, general management, finances, and the perspective of the billionaire owner. You got all of that, but now we're just getting the perspective of the billionaire owner, which is a little weird to me. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this, and let me know about how you guys feel about everything. I want to know. So now we're going to go to my favorite segment of the show, the mailbag question of the day. The mailbag is sponsored by the Raven Space Patreon and our patrons. You guys do an awesome job. Please stay to the end of the video so you can see their names scroll because they really do deserve it. Now, the mailbag question comes from Forever Jones, and his question is there a chance of front office change in the future? Thank you so much for your question. I do not believe this year there will be any front office change at all, unless we see the Ravens offense performing terribly. Then you'll see mid-season, you'll see Marty Mornhinweg get fired. I think that's with Greg Roman. Look like he's like Darth Vader, just hovering over Mornhinweg. I think they'll let go of Mornhinweg and Greg will be the OC. Now, what do I think about you know, Ozzy. I think Ozzy's safe. I don't know why. I think Ozzy and Steve are so close. And you gotta, again, it really does matter to an owner who makes the money. Okay? And I'll tell you who has made the Ravens money over the last couple of years. Jonathan Ogden, Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs, Joe Flacco, right? And, you know, guess who drafted all those guys? Exactly. So he makes you money, right? You know, coaching is different, right? You know, unless you're a great coach like a Bill Belichick, you don't really, you know, you make as much money as the next coach is going to make. So I would say nothing this year, but next year, Harbaugh, if he has a bad season, he's definitely gone. Ozzy, I think he's going to be safe for another couple of years. So now we're going to go to the comment of the day. And the comment of the day comes from Frankie B9. And he says, I don't think the Ravens pick players from Bama all the time. Have a look at in the last 5 or 7 years to see how many guys were picked in the first 3 rounds. So, Frankie, first I want to say, I appreciate you being a watcher. I appreciate you commenting. And I thought your comment was interesting. So I did some research. And I see that the way that you phrase the question, I don't want to say skews the data, but because you use the first 3 rounds, where really you know, people that you pick in the 2nd and 3rd round are usually not as impactful as people you pick in the 1st round. So it was a nice way to couch it. But if you, and you said, I'm sorry, and you said 5 to 7 years. So what I did is I did 1st round picks and I split your difference 6 years. And in the last 6 years, the Ravens have taken 3 players from Alabama in the 1st round. C.J. Mosley, Marlin Humphrey, and Sergio Kindle, I believe. Or Courtney Upshaw. So right there, that's 50% of the last 1st round picks are Alabama players. That's lazy. You know, 50% of the last 1st round picks. So the most important pick of every season, 50% of those come from Alabama. Now, 2 of them have worked out so far. So I'm not saying anything, but, you know, and that's right. And then I also did more research, and I took that same timeline, 6 years, and I did extend it out as you requested. And of those players, the majority vastly are from Alabama. Okay, you have the people he picked this year, and then I believe another year he picked multiple Alabama players as well. And then I think the next highest is 2, and I think it's Ohio State. I can't remember, but you know, so it's like 6 to 2. That's a big jump. That's a big jump. So I think there is some bias there. Thank you though for writing in. I really do appreciate it. And that is the end of the show. Thank you guys so much. Please subscribe to the Raven Space on YouTube for the best Spot Ravens content on the internet. If you want to help join the Raven Space team, please check out Patreon. Or if you can't do a Patreon, I understand. Go and share our videos. Thank you so much, and go Ravens.